Many people like to think that, despite occasional little failures, a person's moral and upright nature is fundamentally good, and that is entirely okay. However, some people's personalities entirely disprove this theory. Most likely, you've encountered someone who is utterly self-centered, or someone who has no regard for others' sentiments and simply cares about achieving their aim. These are blatant indications of immoral activity. Unfortunately, they can sometimes be so stealthy that it's difficult to spot them. Here are 8 indicators that you're dealing with an evil person. First, they show delight in other people's misfortunes. Do you know anyone who delights in the suffering of others? Someone who makes fun of your bad luck. They might exploit your sorrow or find some sort of enjoyment in seeing you suffer. This action shows a complete lack of empathy, which is an indication you're dealing with a nasty person. Empathy is the capacity to put yourself in another person's position. If someone is in pain or going through a different time, you can only picture how difficult their life must be, and you feel sympathy for them. However, a person who lacks empathy makes no attempt to comprehend others. In fact, they purposefully make others feel worse by criticizing, being unkind, or even acting violently against them. Someone you know might be bad if they don't have empathy. They could, however, possibly be something else. One of the traits of psychopathy that is most frequently mentioned is a lack of empathy. Empathy deficits, antisocial conduct, and egocentric thinking are all signs of psychopathy, a personality disorder. Psychopaths are not always wicked or evil individuals. Many people learn how to lead normal lives, but a psychopath can turn nasty and dangerous if they start taking pleasure in other people's suffering. A potentially harmful lack of empathy can take various forms. They might betray your trust and stab you in the back. When you need them the most, they can let you down. Or they might use your secrets against you to take over your life. A nasty person is gladly adding salt to your wound in each of these scenarios. In order to avoid dealing with wicked people, avoid spending time with those who take pleasure in hurting you or others. Although it's frequently utilized in comedic situations on television, you might not be aware of the frightening repercussions of this lack of empathy. And this is because of number 2. They have a great urge to manipulate and control you. Here is an exercise in reasoning to help you comprehend why. Take a moment to reflect about your own life and a desire. Possible reasons include wanting to have sex with someone, getting a promotion at work, or owning something that someone else does. If your brain was incapable of experiencing remorse, consider what you would do to obtain that item. If you didn't care that obtaining your goals would mean harming other individuals. When discussing the propensity to manipulate, 2 sociopaths with diagnoses once spoke. One person said, "I am quite manipulative naturally. It's just really built in, and I have to have those instincts. Otherwise, I don't get the outcomes that I want." End quote. Another said, "Because if I encounter a certain kind of person, and if I'm talking to you and I sense a level of weakness, I get kind of the urge to prey upon that. If I have something that I want to get, then I'm gonna do my best to get it." It's crucial to recognize if you're speaking to a sociopath because while not all sociopaths are horrible people, their propensity for manipulation makes it important to do so. Nowadays, sociopaths are even thought to be inside the same psychopathy spectrum as psychopaths. And this is more common than you might expect. 1 in 30 people are thought to have these antisocial personality disorders, according to the Clinical Psychiatry Journal. Therefore, if there are more than 30 people present in your school or workplace, it's possible that you're interacting with a sociopath or a psychopath without even being aware of it. Number 3. They tend to cause chaos. Psychopaths have little to no capacity for self-control, and their actions are frequently erratic. By giving in to their impulses, wants, and instincts, they put not only themselves, but also the people around them in peril. It's possible that if you're accustomed to the archetype of the psychopath, this will seem counterintuitive to you. The account presented by the media is careful and methodical. They meticulously plan out their criminal activities, ensuring that nothing would ever go wrong in the process. That is partially accurate. Psychopaths have an extraordinarily high level of rationality, but they struggle to maintain control over their conduct. They frequently experience outbursts of rage and have the potential to turn violent without warning. Their fragile ego could be shattered by a trivial offense, which could then set off their explosive anger. When a psychopath is enraged, they stop thinking about what they are doing and instead simply act on their impulses. Have you ever observed that when you're around someone you know, you tend to be more cautious than usual? If you have, you should ask yourself whether or not the person in question is truly in control of their behavior. Number 4. They are cruel to animals. Do you know a person who abuses animals? Perhaps they abuse their own animals, or do they shoo their pets away whenever they make an attempt to say hello? More people than others enjoy animals. Pets are adored by some, who chat and cuddle with them as if they were people. Others respect their pets, but often give them room. But just a few people purposefully neglect or abuse animals. This behavior is frequently a symptom of something negative within them. Why does abusing animals make you wicked then? Because, like us, animals are living creatures. We have a similar connection to them as we do to other people. Just picture having a puppy to play with after a long day at work or having a cat purr on your lap. Both of these interactions reduce stress, send feel-good chemicals to the brain, and make you feel cherished. Someone shows contempt for the living when they are cruel to animals. That harshness shows a lack of connection to other living things. To put it another way, this individual is either too egocentric to care, or they lack the empathy necessary to empathize with another living, breathing creature. In any case, be alert if someone you know treats animals cruelly. Animal cruelty is a red flag for evil behavior, whether the perpetrator hurts their dog or shoots pebbles at squirrels. We don't wish for anyone to encounter an evil person, but which of these signs are you familiar with or have seen someone who possesses some or all of these characteristics? Let us know about it in the comments below. While you're at it, hit the like button and smash the subscribe button so you can always be one step ahead in knowledge with our informative content. Now, back to the video. Number 5. They are insincere. Most of the things we say have numerous layers of significance. Imagine that as you leave the office, a coworker exclaims, "Great job today." It seems like a positive statement on the surface, but how frequently do you believe what you are told? You try to find the subtext. You scrutinize how someone sentences themselves or stresses various syllables. You pay attention to the words themselves, as well as the emotions they convey. Most psychopaths find it difficult to express sincere emotion in their speech. Their sentiments are manufactured and hollow. Since they normally are, their feelings could come off as manufactured. This does not imply that psychopaths lack empathy. They can clearly feel emotions. The issue is connecting those feelings to those nearby. Imagine a psychopath telling you that there are many fish in the sea in an attempt to sound compassionate. They appear to be making an effort to make you feel better, don't they? A psychopath would only say something like this if they stood to gain something from you. In fact, to persuade you to give them what they want, they pretend to feel sorry for them. Despite the similarity of their statements, there is no emotional connection. So, where does this come from? Researchers discovered that individuals with psychopathy also struggle with metaphors and abstract concepts. They are likely to be completely unaware of any underlying emotional meaning if there is one. They are not stupid, therefore that's not why. In actuality, many psychopaths possess extraordinary intelligence. They merely focus on logic and reasoning. They are skilled at influencing concrete concepts, but they get fuzzy when discussions delve deeper. In fact, psychologists have observed this distinction in action. Researchers examined the brain activity of two groups of individuals in the 1990s, one with psychopathy and the other without it. A list of various word categories were displayed to both groups. While some were meant to elicit an emotional response, others were wholly neutral. Indeed, the non-psychopathic group responded more strongly to the emotive terms than to the neutral ones. On the other hand, there was no variation in brain activity in the psychopath group. This study came to the conclusion that this difference in brain responses accounts for the sincerity of psychopaths. Because of the way their brains naturally function, they won't be able to understand, relate to, or care about that deeper meaning. Number 6. They profit by deceiving you. Everybody has lied a little bit throughout their lifetime. Sometimes you tell a falsehood to protect someone from harm or to spare their feelings. Sometimes you do it to get yourself out of trouble or to stay away from pointless arguments. However, dishonest people purposefully lie and do so frequently in order to benefit themselves, not others. One of the characteristics of a psychopathic personality is deceit and manipulation. In reality, lying and manipulating people are pervasive throughout the evil triad of narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. They are the three main personality disorders that make up the dark triad. Each illness is frequently connected to violent or nasty individuals. The dark triad's three diseases all have issues with empathy in their own unique ways. To comprehend another person's struggles, narcissists may feel entitled to manipulate others because they place such a high value on themselves, and Machiavellian selfishness drives people to frequently manipulate, deceive, and lie. Someone who routinely fabricates information for their own benefit could be somewhere along this perilous spectrum. They might have trouble empathizing, have an inflated sense of their own importance, or be too preoccupied with themselves to recognize the dangers of manipulation. But in either case, a person who blatantly exploits others might be evil. Number 7. The way they look at you. If you suspect someone of having psychopathic tendencies, observe how they look at you. Say you're in tears over something awful someone said. Watch their gaze while you describe your feelings to them. Do they directly return the gaze to yours? Or do they prefer to look at your mouth instead? According to a 2015 study, psychopaths pay attention to many emotional facial features. The majority of people naturally make eye contact with vulnerable individuals. A psychopath, meanwhile, would spend more time examining their mouth. Why? Your mouth conveys just as much information, if not more, yet it lacks the same level of intimacy. By recognizing your facial expressions without the emotional connection of direct eye contact, psychopaths will gently detach from you. Last but not least, number 8. You are warned against them. Have you received a warning that a friend or partner is dishonest? Have you ever been advised to maintain your distance? The major issue with many of these vengeful personality types, despite the fact that this individual appears to be fantastic on the outside, is this. They are excellent at hiding their tracks, and they can play the best buddy or ideal match card for a very long time. When it suits them best, these same people will stab you in the back, despite their pretenses to care, listen, and protect your confidence. Frequently, we fall in love with this person's positive traits and fail to see any warning signs. We allow them to deceive or dominate us by not holding them accountable for their lies. We accept their criticisms and allow them to have an internal impact. When you are detached and uninvolved, it is simply to identify evil people. However, it's hard to distinguish between the two on the inside. Therefore, pay attention to what others are attempting to teach you. If this individual is harming you, they have probably done harm to others in the past. Heed the advice of their friends, relatives, and even former partners. You probably have nothing to worry about if everyone praises how wonderful and kind this individual is. However, if other individuals caution you against approaching too closely, you might be dealing with something worse than you think. These 8 warning signs should help you keep your distance from evil people. They're all around us, and keeping ourselves safe from their exploitative tendencies will always be useful. If you like the content we bring in this channel, be sure to leave a like and smash the subscribe button. Share this video with your friends, family, and loved ones too. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.